Hi, I'm JOGB and welcome to Jo on the Go. Hey, I'm back here on part 2 with Nic Chapman Haste, Pixiwoo, where we're talking about our MS journey.
Do you want to ask me that question again? So it's an easier transition.
Because my memory's so shit.
Look at us two. Neither of us can remember it.
I'm going to keep that in, you know.
100,000 people in the UK have MS. And some of them are very, very young. And I get messages from so many of them. And I'm always so welcoming to those messages because it's hard.
Yes.
It's really hard when you get told that. And everyone has a different feeling about it. But everyone wants to know what. How did you feel about it? Like, it's the weirdest things when you get told something like that. I was more worried about what everyone else would think. Like, even people that I hadn't seen for 15 years, people that I went to school with, I'd be like, oh God, they're going to think I've... Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so ridiculous, the things that bother you when you get told something like that.
I think I was saying, because Nic knows that I didn't talk about it for a while, and there'd be only a handful of people who I would tell, and partly because I didn't want to be judged that I couldn't do my job. You know, that I couldn't get from A to B, and the reality is actually getting from A to B sucks. Really sucks. And you know, I am classified as disabled, whereas that's because of just because of my legs, not because I have. The memory is shit.
My memory is shit as well. So funny. The amount of outtakes we've taken in this, and then we're like, I can't remember.
I don't think they're outtakes. I think we're keeping it. I know.
I can't remember what we're talking about. But that's the thing.
How do you remember how to do a red lip?
Those things I've had for so long.
Isn't that lucky?
Yeah, it's the new stuff I forget, the instant stuff. Every product I don't remember what it's called. Everything. I'm like, but luckily my sister's really good with that stuff.
But you know, that is the funny thing. When I started off in my jobs, I used to remember everybody's PR's phone numbers, because that was weird. The full name and price of a product. Okay, there were a lot less when I started out in the business, but you know, my memory was incredible for that.
Maybe it's not our memory. Maybe it's just that it's kind of insignificant. Do I care?
Yeah.
Just Google it. Do you know what I mean? That's
I love it.
Maybe it's just that it's not really our memory. It's that we've got other things going on that are taking more space than than that one little thing.
I like that.
That's the only way I can kind of get round it, is that actually I'm not really bad with a memory. I just am not that interested in it, and that's why it hasn't, you know, or it's just passing. I've got other things going on in that memory that my brain needs to work on.
Creative. No, what was it going to be?
See, this is our whole journey.
Oh my God!
On that note, I honestly don't have a clue. What were we talking about anyway? Memory.
What?
We were talking about memory.
Were we?
When we forgot.
Were we?
Yeah. On that note, you've got questions.
I've got questions. Are there any other treatments you do for yourself that?
Nothing.
No. And that's mainly because it was contained to the eye and your
fatigue. I do pressure points.
Okay.
So where I have to press certain points and get the blood circulating so it all goes round. But
do you do that just routinely?
Yeah. And that's what my guy tells me to do as well. Gives me pressure points to push, and
because my thing is that I just try there's a thing called Bowen technique which I do, which is amazing, which is from Australia, and
what's that?
It's a muscle manipulation technique. My sister's a nurse in Australia, and when I was diagnosed, she gave me this long list of everything I needed to do. Top of it was the diet, and then I started investigating, and one of them was find a Bowen therapist. So I go to this lady in Richmond, and it's like you barely feel a touch, but you walk in. Oh, that was fun. You walk in, and she would see the way you're walking, well, particularly me walking, but anyone, the way you're walking, maybe because people have a heavy bag on one shoulder, etc., etc., and tiny tweaks that feel just gentle. Very rarely that anything really feels significant, and then you lay there while your it's like muscle memory, and they're reminded of where they should be, and everything lines up.
How
and so all that idea of trapped nerves, frozen shoulders, not MS, anything, and so it's just free flowing of good energy in your body and not harbouring pains and
How lovely.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
That sounds nicer than my pressure points. I have to push really hard, or my husband does, in certain areas, on my legs 3 times, on my arms, brush up here and here. Certain things in certain areas, I have to twist my toes and have to miss one toe because it's linked to the nervous system.
Yeah.
Certain toes have to be twisted 30 times.
So was it your naturopath who came up with this?
Yeah.
I'm going to come see him.
It's really interesting. It's really interesting. You know, I'll do anything that might help.
But you're just sworn to him because you devoted to him.
Completely. I'm like, can't you train someone else up? Because what happens? And I'm sure there's other people that do similar. So find someone that works for you. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure there's tons of it. I know there are. It's just I have someone that I go to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, it's not cheap.
Yes. No, get little black spots.
Yes, so do I. I always have one.
Yeah. And I have this Chinese doctor, acupuncturist, and he so sweet. They don't believe in MS in China. So he's like, no, he says it's all my fault. He said it's MS does not exist in China. Okay. One treatment of acupuncture and they went. Just like that.
Amazing. Maybe
just
I
like
need to
that.
do acupuncture.
And then I haven't seen him for a bit, and they started coming back in a really big way, and I've got to go and see him. But they're better.
So you also like blurs, are they?
They're like. It's like I've got lots of little fruit flies.
Mine's there.
Like little fruit flies all around one side, and at one point, it was to the point that I just couldn't happily
have to blink a lot.
Yeah, and in fact they're not.
Yeah, I was just looking up there. I don't have one.
Two of them at the moment. Or is it crumbly mascara? Could be crumbly mascara, I think.
Yeah, I don't have one at the moment.
Well, no, crumbly mascara.
No. I probably have that.
Yeah.
I've moistened the mascara with my tears, so it's probably not crumbling now. It's reborn. I did just go and have I went and had a complete health check the other day. Paid to go to Bupa to have a proper one done. I got my husband one. Because I have MS, I worry about him constantly. I'm like, please don't get anything, please don't get ill.
Oh, because I know I failed.
Yeah, because then I'll have a relapse. And it's not just about
me.
I
can't do it without you.
Yeah, and I can't.
By the way.
Can't cope without you, and our kids can't cope without both of us. So I'm more always worried about him, which is so crazy. And he is vice versa. So I booked him in to have a complete health check. I'm also extremely competitive, so he had his complete health check, and he came back and he was like, "Yeah, he's completely healthy, apart from he has a little bit of a spike in bad sugar because I leave Haribo out. I left Haribo out, and it's his weakness. And he ate a whole packet before he went in. So I was like, oh, he failed on one thing.
Oh.
So when I had mine, I was so shocked. I was completely healthy on every part. I've sent my bloods off as well. Completely healthy on everything, and everything they were saying to me about diet, I was like, well, yeah, I already do that, I don't eat any of that, and I was like, why am I here? But you just need that reassurance. But she said, so
they didn't detect the MS with you?
No, but my bloods have been sent off.
Okay.
Yeah, so and I don't know how they detect MS really, because
it's the
obviously I had the lesions on my brain when I had.
Did you have a lumbar puncture?
Had a lumbar.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Can we do a piece on that one?
Oh my god.
For God's sake.
It doesn't hurt when you're having it done, and
no,
people were like,
that's fine.
It's
not a problem.
The days after, when you just have to lay flat. I've worked out that it's because they take some fluid from your spine,
there's a gap.
that there's not as much fluid in your head, and then obviously that gap has to heal, so it's leaking out for a while. But every time I sat up, I was like, I'm going to be sick, for a week.
9 days, I beat you. I am competitive.
Oh my god.
I am competitive.
You could have the 9 days. I was bad enough with 7.
And do you know what? Do you know how I then got around it? Because I didn't see it going in 9 days either. I emailed my neurologist and I said to him, okay, I have to work. This is ridiculous. I didn't build this in. I took maybe 1 or 2 days off, which is what they say. 1 or 2 days to recover. I could not raise my head up. And he said, oh, why don't you try lowering your head further than your shoulders? And that did it. So instead of being flat, the head was down. Gone. And I was laying all that time. I was downstairs. I couldn't go upstairs, but I was sleeping on the sofa.
I don't know what I'm putting in my body.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to know what's going in. and it used to be a lot of junk food, and now I've cut all that out. I didn't want to take something that was disguising it. I don't want it disguised. I want it beaten.
Yeah.
I want to have another MRI to see whether what I do has lessened the lesions.
Yeah.
Is what I would like to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether once you've got a lesion on the brain, you can't get rid of it, surely, because it's a scar.
It's a scar.
Do you know what I mean? You can't.
I know.
It's a scar that stops the message going through to the nerves.
Well, I had an MRI done. This was quite a depressing one, actually. But basically, they did one where they were measuring the lesions on my spine, my spinal cord, with my brain.
Yep.
And apparently, if they match up, then you will be in a wheelchair.
And they matched up.
How
long ago was that, though?
That was 2 years ago.
You're not.
I'm not in a wheelchair, and I have to say that was a very depressing moment, because that was the neurological textbook of, okay, well,
who says
she's
that?
in that box.
Who says that?
And that was the thing. It's like so that's when I was looking into training myself in Reiki, things that I can put into myself to make myself more positive, and and even if I, a wheelchair still isn't the end of the road, it's like, at least I could be in a wheelchair and still be positive, but it's like, don't doom the person before it's even begun,
Yeah. It's a bit bad form. A bit bad form to say, oh yeah, yours match up, you're going to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Fuck off. No, I'm not.
Thank you. Absolutely.
No, I'm not. Don't
double.
Yeah, don't say that to me.
I know.
Yeah, it already feels like a death sentence when you're told you've got it in the first place. But then to say, but
I'm not.
You're not.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, you're not going to.
And the other side of it, which is real positives as well, is I was at a spa in Spain, Shah.
Yeah.
They have this fantastic neurologist, psychotherapist there, who psychologist who created the Luminosity app, that really clever. So I do a lot of that app kind of game things like Sudokus and stuff, because it stimulates your brain. It totally stimulates your brain.
Is it?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I love it.
It's really key, really key. Oh. Anyone says, "You're playing a game," mental training.
I'm getting my brain active.
I know. It's the best excuse. And he did a brain. They do like a brain assessment there, and where they look at a lot of people and they can predict early Alzheimer's and dementia, etc., which I know you've had affecting you in the past with your family. And he did one on me, and at the end I said to him, well, I have MS. And he said to me, well, do you know what? Your brain does not exhibit MS. And that was like...
See? Yeah. Well, all the tests that I've had done, they haven't found MS. I did this thing called Atlas Spine, where you send off a poo sample.
Oh, okay.
Honestly. So you get a sample of your poo, you shake it into this thing, put it in the post, you send it off, and they come back with your results, and they tell you what your body digests and what it doesn't, and blah, 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 blah. And how healthy you are. And my diet was extremely healthy, enough fibre, enough everything else. And it said likely diseases, 0 detected. And I'm like, so I don't know how real these things are, because I'm like, hang on a minute, I have MS.
Yeah. How interesting.
But we can only deal with what we've been dealt with, and hopefully try and protect the people around us, and hope that they don't have to deal with it as well.
Yeah. And share what we've doing. It's a journey.
And talk openly about it, and don't be ashamed. I wanted people to understand what MS is. I want people to understand that if I'm tired, it's because I have MS. If I'm working a long day and I ask for certain foods on a photo shoot, it's because I'm not being difficult. I look after myself, and I need to eat those foods. And and I just wanted people to be aware that everyone has something, and just be aware of other people as well. And don't think just because you look a certain way and you look like you've not got a worry in the world that you don't. Because I think I can't imagine anyone that doesn't have a worry in the world.
No.
Who's past 7, 8 years old? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
kids don't.
No. Well, actually, that's the age when most people have an issue created by the time they're 7.
Really?
psychologists.
Really?
So, yeah.
See, that would be an interesting chat as well.
Yeah. Well, that's one of my favourite videos.
So pleased. I'm so pleased, and it's really nice to talk about.
It is.
It's important.
It is important.
Oh. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my love.
I've loved it. It's been really, really lovely. Thank you.
We're going to... No, it's the best. I hope you enjoyed Jo on the Go, and thank you for watching. Please like, follow, subscribe to my various channels on Instagram, YouTube, and do check out my lifestyle wellness blog, Living It Up, on jogbliving.com.